My name is Alex Khoruts. I'm the medical director of the University of Minnesota Microbiota Therapeutics Program. I appreciate this chance to talk to you and our partners, Achieving Cures Together, about our program and what's been happening over the past 6 months or so. Our mission, foundational mission, was to take care of C. diff patients with difficult infections, Clostridium difficile, that they can't cure with standard therapies, which is antibiotics. Then that evolved into a much bigger mission because we realized that the gut microbes is actually a new frontier of medicine because they're integrated with the rest of the body and affect all kinds of diseases. So our mission, in addition, is to support a variety of clinical trials that target gut microbiota. Gut microbiota is a term that refers to all the microbes that live in the intestinal tract. We know today that the gut microbes play some role in development of many common diseases. These include inflammatory bowel disease like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. They include disorders of energy metabolism such as obesity, diabetes, perhaps anorexia nervosa. They affect neurologic development, and there is evidence they're involved in disorders like autism. As you can imagine, this new target is of great interest to commercial interests and drug companies. It is an entirely new world. However, that also comes with its own problems. The drug companies, the way they develop their therapeutics, they think first about profit, only second or third about patients. And therefore, they're very risk averse in undertaking clinical trials that might somehow derail their path to approval and rewarding their investors. Therefore, our mission really is to support academic clinical trials that are not hindered by those other considerations. This is why we have collaborators now across the country doing clinical trials for a variety of indications. There's a group in Arizona State University led by Dr. Adams who's focused on autism. Its preliminary results have shown marked improvement in the gastrointestinal function of autism patients, as well as improvements in their behavior. This has led to a much larger study, and now there's hundreds of patients just on the waiting list to get into the study. The only limiting reagent is our ability to supply the drug and the placebo. Another trial example is a group in Baltimore led by Dr. Dutta. He's studying Parkinson's disease. Now that disease, at least a fraction of patients, appears to originate in the gut and migrate up to the brain where it causes degeneration of the motor system. That trial is almost to start in November. We have a trial in Virginia that is focused on alcohol and alcohol-related liver disease led by Dr. Jaz Bajaj. His preliminary results have shown, remarkably, that correcting the microbial composition in the gut of those patients somehow improves or lessens the alcohol cravings. Alcoholism is not the most popular disease to study with the public. It is really an underserved population. Here in the University of Minnesota, we also have a couple trials led by local investigators. Dr. Armin Rashidi and Shernan Holton are leading a trial in bone marrow transplant patients who are particularly vulnerable to infections and a disease called graft versus host disease. Both are complications of what we do to the gut microbes during their treatment. They get a lot of antibiotics, and in that context, when the new immune system develops, it attacks the host and is responsible for the majority of non-cancer mortality. And Dr. Byron Vaughn is leading a trial in ulcerative colitis. Now, I should say we're developing very specialized formulations for these different trials. So that is somewhat different than just spurting any healthy microbes. There's a lot of research that needs to go into that. This is still investigational therapy. We don't want to charge patients for it on principle. Many patients wouldn't be able to afford the cost. We don't want anyone to suffer. So we have a somewhat different model. We ask our patients if they would consider donating to the program, not to pay for their treatment, but to help the next person in need. None of this would be possible without our partner Achieving Cures Together. We're not only challenging medical paradigms and exploring new frontiers of what is possible in medicine, we're actually challenging all paradigms in medicine. We're not about money. We're trying to help people. We're trying to move science forward. Thank you.